Hey, hey, hey. What's up,
And we are live. That title or that sound bite never gets old for me. Welcome back to Gemini Crypto, episode 1286. Today is Thursday, January 30th, 2025, and I'm King, here to bridge the gap between the community and crypto every day, Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. ish. And today's top stories: Trump crypto order may disrupt Bitcoin's 4-year cycle, says Bitwise. Grayscale launches Bitcoin miners ETF to offer Bitcoin mining exposure. Gemini is in the news as they won't hire MIT grads unless university drops ex-SEC chair Gensler. And last but not least, Illinois is considering strategic Bitcoin reserve with 5-year HODL strategy. But first and foremost, of course, let's go ahead and take a quick look at these prices. I'm actually resetting them right now because I had the page up for a while this morning. All right, Bitcoin's coming in at $105,994, almost 106,000, up 3.85% on the day. Ethereum at $3,267, up 5.29%. Ripple at $3.13, aka 313. What up, though? Up 2.01%. Solana at $242 at number 5, up 6.11%. Number 8, Dogecoin, 33 cents, up 3.73%. And number 10 is Tron at 25 cents, up 5.28%. Fear and Greed Index has jumped up a few points to 54. Bitcoin dominance 58.37. Ethereum dominance 11.97, or excuse me, 10.97, trying to get back to that 11%. And those are your prices on the day. So again, Bitcoin's alive and well. I guess we're going through chop, if you can call it that. I guess we have this sideways movement right now, but is it really? I mean, all is well when it comes to the prices and the health of the actual network and blockchain. So regardless of the price, Bitcoin is alive and well. And that is always great news to see. All right, with that being said, let me go ahead and give a few quick shout outs before we get the show going. Super Mario, Kashan, Pat Gray, what up, though? Shalom. Saber Saves, STL Solo, Jake Fever said, did you get that? Oh, I did get that shirt, Jake. Don't say it on the chat. I'm waiting to show the shirt for a specific date. I said that on your show. The shirt will be worn very soon, believe me. Wisdom Bars, Jerome Jones, Eric, what's going on? Credit K, 5150, Alapio. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hope everybody is well today. Let's get the show rolling. News cycle is slowing down again. I think everybody's kind of waiting to see next couple of weeks what is going to happen from these executive orders, what's going to happen with the new administration. Of course, they got the crypto task force. So I think that's why you're seeing it slow down a little bit. There was all this excitement leading up to the election. We saw a lot of the news cycle reflect that. Right now, we know who's in, we know what their game plan is, but now a lot of these companies and banks are waiting for clear direction, which again, I think they'll get here in the next few weeks, a couple months max. So once that hits, I think we'll see the news cycle and the excitement pick back up. And of course, by the summertime, you'll see it as well. So January has always been like a low month, going into February as well. March and April, things start to heat up, and then summertime, you get a lot of volatility and price action, which of course makes the entire market exciting. You get the news cycles to follow it. So right now, again, I expect a little bit of a slower news cycle unless we get bigger updates out there. But again, that's good for us because we get to have that slow growth. All where I would say eyes are off a bit at this point. I don't think eyes will ever be off Bitcoin moving forward. All right, but with that being said, top story of the day: Trump crypto order may disrupt Bitcoin's 4-year cycle, says Bitwise. Bitwise Matt Hoogan said crypto wouldn't fully overcome a 4-year cycle, but said market pullbacks would be shorter and shallower than before. So I haven't read this entire article. I've only saw the headline per normal, but I saw the headline and I agree with it almost immediately. It's something I've kind of been thinking about as well. Um, I don't think it's going to totally throw it off, but I do agree that yes, because of the executive orders and some of the things that they want to do with crypto, making America first in crypto, we could see this cycle get disrupted, where you never normally see again after the happening, which we saw a aggressive or a slow but aggressive price increase as far as USD. Then the following year is when you go crazy. Normally, again, we've seen this in 2016, 17. We saw this again in 2020, 21, and now we're seeing it again in 2024 and hopefully 2025. And then the 2 years or a year after that, you normally go into a bear market until the cycle repeats itself. Now, they're saying, hey, with this, or I'm assuming what they're saying, what I saw from the headline is that because of the executive orders and everything that's going on, we might not actually see that same retracement or pullback at the same time frame. It might take longer for it to happen. And again, from this first paragraph, they're saying not only would that happen, it will be shorter than what it normally is and shallower. Now, the shallower part, I don't think. I do think it'll be shorter, but I think it'll be just as aggressive. I still think we'll have these 40 to 60% dips at least one or two times. We'll have a flash crash, but I don't think they'll last as long. I hope they don't last as long. You're talking a year to 2 years. But again, this is talking about U.S. President Trump's recent crypto executive order, which could disrupt the crypto market's 4-year boom and bust cycle that it has seen over the last decade, says Bitwise investment chief Matt Hougan. Again, he added that crypto ETFs are big enough to bring in billions from new investors, but he said he's convinced Trump's executive order to explore creating a digital asset stockpile and draft a regulatory framework will bring trillions. So the amount of fraud and bad actors in the crypto industry will fall dramatically over the next 4 years as leaders like David Sachs put in place sensible regulations for crypto. The prior approach of regulation by enforcement increased risk to investors. I actually agree with that. I think we will see some fraud fall. I don't know dramatically because again, this is kind of creating an environment for the Wild Wild West was going on right now. So in order for the fraud and the bad actors to fall, you would have to severely punish them. And even the last few administrations weren't doing that. The last administration wasn't severely punishing them; they were charging them, right? They were taxing them. It costs more money to be a bad actor. So I don't know if this administration is going to continue with that. Whereas like it'll cost you money to be a bad actor, but for it to say that for them dramatically fall, I'm not too sure about that. But again, this is Hugin saying that this 4-year big and bust cycle we kind of see won't happen. He believes these pullbacks will be shorter and shallower. He thinks the crypto space has matured and there's a greater variety of buyers and more value oriented investors than ever before. I again, some of the stuff I disagree with. I agree that the cycle is going to change. I don't think we'll see the same 2 on, 2 off type of deal we might see this year or next few years, 3 or 4 on, and then in the next administration, possibly, very possibly, have a 4-year bear cycle. You heard it here first. We may possibly have a 4-year bear cycle in the next administration because I do think the next administration, if it isn't a reflection of the current one, they will come in and like undo a lot of regulations or regulatory guidance that you've been getting. You'll see more taxation. Like you'll see the crypto market take a big hit if a different administration comes in 4 years. And we could see a 4-year dip from that. So I do think it's going to change the way we do see the market cycles. But I think this person is just a little bit too high on crypto, which again, you often see with a lot of professionals who come over here. And this is somebody from Bitwise, so it makes sense. You're talking about people who have ETFs and on the institutional side. But again, they're not talking about exposure. One bad dip, like one bad dip, one of those flash crashes, anything like that, the way these institutions are in with the different derivatives at play as well, one bad dip could really crash this market and be enough to keep it down for again 6 to 8 months, a year or two. So it seems great, and I'm glad like they're so optimistic, but that's coming from the institution. They're hoping it to be this way. Again, they're not banking on a flash crash of Bitcoin just suddenly going down to $43,000 like for no explanation. Like that happens in this space. So hopefully it continues on though. I mean, if it does continue on, we could see these again, these market cycles change. Speaking of market cycles and things changing, Grayscale launches Bitcoin miners ETF to offer Bitcoin mining exposure. Grayscale new ETF MNRS, which looks like it's miners, tracks Bitcoin's mining farms and infrastructure, offering investors exposure to the mining industry without direct Bitcoin investment. Now, when I saw this headline, I could do nothing but give it a hand clap, hand clap, hand clap. Where is my clapping at? I thought I used to have a clap. Let me find a clap. Got to find a hand clap. But I could do nothing but give it a hand clap. Here we go. Yes, yes. This is one that actually makes sense, right? When it comes to Bitcoin and crypto itself, it's like you don't really need ETFs and things that's like because you can directly expose yourself to it and it's not that big of a deal. Like they're trying to make it seem like it's the traditional market was like you'll get super confused and these things will happen. It's like, no, get you a cold wallet, get you some cold storage, buy your Bitcoin or buy your crypto and just let it sit there or whatever. So you don't need an ETF to have that exposure, and it doesn't harm you to have your own exposure to it as well. Um, Now I can understand a crypto ETF if you had enough strong enough cryptos to where it made sense. So if you had five other legitimate Bitcoins out there, I could see it. But right now you don't have that. A lot of the other altcoins are very centralized and they're one bad day away from being a dead project. So that is truly why I don't agree and it makes sense to have all these crypto ETFs and all these different Bitcoin ETFs because it's like, what are you mixing and matching to reduce exposure or to reduce risk? To reduce risk. They're not actually doing anything to reduce risk. If you have a crypto ETF full of bad cryptos, they're not reducing risk. They're just spreading out. They're just bleeding you out slower, but they're not reducing the risk. So the same thing I think with the Bitcoin ETFs and all crypto ETFs right now just isn't the reason. But when you start talking mining ETFs, now this makes sense. It is a more difficult process. There are barriers to entry, and there is more of a workload, productivity workload at the end of the day when you're talking about having your own mining operation or your own miner. Like you have to physically buy a miner, you have to wait for it to be shipped to you, then you get it. You got to go to YouTube University or Google or something or DeepSeek now, I guess, to figure out how to install the miner, how to operate it, how to actually start mining. You have to check on it, electricity costs, right? There's all these different things that go into mining, joining mining farms, understanding the market. So, yes, this does make sense instead of saying, hey, instead of you buying the mining asset and doing XYZ and learning all about mining, now we have mining ETFs for you and we can do a basket of these different mining pools, which I'm assuming haven't ready yet, and give you exposure to that. That makes perfect sense. That is an ETF I can get behind right there. A mining ETF makes perfect sense. All right. Like, because everyone can't just wake up and be a miner, but literally everyone on the planet can wake up and buy them some Bitcoin and crypto. That's why the other ETFs don't make sense. But again, this is major crypto asset manager Grayscale continued expanding its crypto investment offerings, launching a new exchange traded fund ETF offering exposure to Bitcoin mining. Grace, and again, I wouldn't be this wouldn't be crazy to see this expand to crypto mining. That would make sense to me. So again, maybe not, it's not a crypto asset ETF, but you have a crypto mining ETF where yes, there are other cryptocurrencies and smaller altcoins being mined left and right. This will make more sense because that is something everyone isn't doing, and adding that exposure could help a portfolio. But Grayscale is debuting Grayscale Bitcoin Miners ETF, also known as MNRS Miners, an investment product offering exposure to Bitcoin miners and the Bitcoin mining ecosystem. The company announced on January 30th. The fund invests specifically in companies from the Index Bitcoin Miners Index, which tracks the performance of firms whose revenue comes mostly from Bitcoin mining or mining related hardware, software, services, or other projects. They will not invest in digital assets directly or through derivatives, but may have indirect exposure to digital assets by virtue of its investments, Grayscale noted. Shout out to Grayscale. This is one that makes sense. I think this will be a good, fun, and an appealing one as well. This is something like personally I would get into. I would get into a mining ETF. Makes perfect sense. It's perfect exposure to it. I like that one. I like that ETF. These are the good ones I think that are here for the industry. And this is what I mean by like you don't have to do the snaky over corporate lord institutional derivative the entire market, right? You don't have to, but I understand why. It's a great money play for institutions. It's great for the United States government and national security to dilute this space as much as possible so it can't compete with the dollar. So of course, these things make sense, but it's one of those things like, you don't need to do it. You can do regular stuff and it'll make sense. Again, shout out to Grayscale and that mining ETF. I think we'll see a lot more of those. And once we start to see more of those, we could start seeing the mining market increase, right? If you start to get mining ETFs and all this money is going into mining derivatives, I do think some of that money will flow back into the actual mining operations themselves from the institutions that are holding these ETFs when the time comes. and you can see a more efficient and effective mining process on the back end. So I think this is good for the market. I can't wait to see what happens in about 6 to 8 months. Hopefully we get more as well. All right, what else we have? Let's see. Oh, y'all in the chat going crazy right now. Jake Fever said institutions can't control the price going up, but they can stop it from going down. It would not be crashing 70 to 90% anymore. They're making money off Bitcoin and love it. The only reason I got to push back on that is because Futures said the same thing when the futures came out. SIBO and was it CMX or whatever? They were just like, hey, we're going to tame Bitcoin, which they did. But they actually did the opposite. If you remember, they caused it to dip more than anything, and they dipped by a lot. So I'm with you. I think their combined powers, they won't want it, of course, to dip 70 to 90%. But there's always these events that we just don't see, right? There's always a curveballs in the space. So no, there's no way, no how do I think all of this is going to be going on with derivatives, with not to mention new technology at play, new things popping up in this space, and we don't get no dips. I mean, listen, if you're right about that one, Jake, holy moly, like, but I don't think that's going to happen. Or I won't even say no dips, no more 70% dips. I don't know. I still think we got a couple more in store for us before this is all the way over. Just wait till that 17-year-old pops up with 40 billion in Bitcoin and says he wants to run for a position in government. Oh, we're gonna have a dip, okay? Let's see what else we have. Gemini. Oh, Gemini is doubling down on the beef. Gemini says, hey, if you mess with him, we ain't messing with them, okay? Let's go ahead and throw it on. Hey. Gemini CEO Tyler Winklevoss said the exchange won't hire from MIT due to the university rehiring Gary Gensler, a boycott that one commentator called overkill. No, I agree. And this is what I just said. I won't go into my big rant, but this is what I said about President Trump and Dave Chappelle being wrong on Saturday Night Live as far as asking him not to come into office and be petty. And I was like, no, they try to destroy your life. Come back and be petty. Not even because, like, and that would be on anybody's side, whether it's the Trump, Kamala, whatever. Like, if people try to ruin your life, no, this isn't a time for you to come back and be like, okay, guys, like, you got me. I'm gonna play nice. No, they already tried to ruin your life and you won. This is the time to come back and double down, remind people why they don't try to ruin your life. Okay. So no. I'm all about being petty. And with that being said, I'm behind Gemini. Hell no. After this guy literally tried to destroy their company and all of their money and like their livelihood. No, there isn't an overkill button. I agree with them. For those who isn't in the know, as this article says, and I'm sure people heard, I did not cover it because I don't care to, but Gary Gensler has been rehired at MIT. All right. They brought him back with open arms. It makes sense. Alma mater. They're actually, I mean, shout out to MIT as an institution. They're doing what they're supposed to do. If I went to that college as a student or as a professor or whatever else, and I went on out in the world, and yeah, some people love me, some people hate me, but I was at a grand position and doing grand things. Yeah, I would expect my alma mater to have my back, or the school I was a professor at to have my back and to welcome me back. So I'm not mad at MIT. They're kind of doing what they're supposed to. And again, I think they're reinforcing for future professors and students like, hey, as long as you guys aren't out there killing people, like, we got your back. You can come home to us, you can make some money, you can have a job. So from an organizational point of view and from having your teams back, I'm not mad at MIT. Okay, I'm not. However, I do again fully agree with the Gemini, with the Winklevoss twins. Yeah, you know the harm he's specifically done in this market. You know the harm he's done to companies. He's imprisoned people, like legitimately. He's imprisoned people. He's robbed companies. He's extorted companies. Like, he's been on some gang timing right now. So no friend of him. If he would have got those mysterious heart attacks or one of those late nights or visits where people are missing from their homes, like, no one would have been upset. People would have been ecstatic. Matter of fact, because it's like, yo, you are legitimately imprisoning people over financial crimes if they don't pay you. Like, that's gang all the way. So no, I am with the Winklevoss twins. I'm with them all the way. If you support them, if you're coming from MIT right now, hey, excommunicado. We not messing with you. We don't like you. We don't want to. I am with them all the way because you know what? And to be real, this is the only way it's going to change. Like, this is the only way it will change. And to me, this is a form of self-regulation. And that's for them and everyone else saying, yeah, we are being petty. We are picking friends. We are saying, no, we don't mess with you. Everything you want to say that's bad, we're doing it. Yes, yes. Let's not make it confused. We got family too. We're gonna hire them. Nepotism all the way. All right. We're doing all that. And I want to make it clear because it's like this is the only way we'll see these things stop. If you don't start, because they're doing it on the institutional side, you better believe it, right? The banks, the institutions. Gary Gensler was playing dirty with the banks. The CFTC just had a document that we're trying to get released. The government's trying to get released, where they had what 14 to 16 pages, or excuse me, 60 to 80% of the document was redacted, like 14 pages of redacted documents talking about Operation Choke Point and whether to let banks or the influence the CFTC had on banks now allowing crypto to bank with them or do business with them. It's like this isn't fake. This is real stuff that's going on. There are people working for the government breaking the law. There's people working with these institutions breaking the law. They're not playing fair. So yes, the only way to fight back is to make it known, where it's blanketed across the market, where it's like, hey, if these people are coming from these institutions, these banks, these organizations, whatever, do not hire them. Starve them out. Starve them out. Don't play fair. Or if you do hire them or work with them, overcharge their ass. Overcharge them. All right. This is where we talking about collecting the bag. So I'm with the Winklevoss twins on this. I love it. Crypto exchange Gemini won't be hiring any graduates from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology unless the university drops former Securities and Exchange Commission chair Gary Gensler from his teaching role. Quote, as long as MIT has any association with Gary Gensler, Gemini will not hire any graduates from this school. Gemini co-founder and CEO Tyler Winklevoss said in a January 30th X post. He added the crypto exchange also wouldn't hire interns for a summer internship program. Listen, all we need now, which I know we won't get because they're the ones who mess it up, but literally all you need is Coinbase and a couple other companies to come out and say, we agree, we're not hiring MIT either. You get Coinbase and two or three other crypto companies to come out publicly and be like, nope, we're not hiring unless y'all drop them. And you can actually get MIT to drop them or at least make a statement on it. Oh man, this is beautiful. So again, I fully agree with this. I hope that other crypto companies step up. I know they won't, unfortunately, which is why we have regulation here to begin with, because they all just look at each other by themselves, fight, and don't say anything when in reality they should be helping. But again, if you get other companies to come out and talk about this and make this stance, this could be something from a self-regulatory standpoint that could be accomplished moving forward, where companies, institutions, and government offices alike say, you know what? We can't get away with doing the BS anymore because now they're tracking us from this position once we leave. Like, hey, we do some BS here, we won't get rehired anywhere else. Like that is the stance this entire crypto market and community need to take. But again, highly doubt it happens. But the Gemini, the feud with the SEC stems back to, they say, at least March, when it paid $21 million in fines. Again, I would say further than that. The first time I've heard and contacted or had anything guidance from that office, I would say, was back in 2016 myself. So I can only imagine for as far as the Winklevoss twins. But here's that X thread that they put up there. And again, happy to see them stand on it. Former SEC Chair Gary Gensler named professor of the practice at the MIT Sloan School of Management. So the enforcement action against them, of course, was orchestrated by Gensler, which is why they are still like, hey, we now with it. Coinbase's CEO Brian Armstrong said the firm would avoid working with law firms that hire people who try to unlawfully kill the industry. But again, I would like to see Coinbase and some other advocates come out with the Winklevoss twins and say, yep, we're not hiring and we're not messing with anybody from these places until this is fixed. What do y'all think in the comments? I don't know. What do y'all think? I hope it does happen, though. That'd be great. Alapio, yeah, I agree with you. Alapio says it's crazy to see how all this played out over these past 4 years. You already know it's kind of crazy. Jump Out Girl said all universities are programmed. As a business owner, you definitely have the leverage to pick and choose and can't use DEI anymore to get hired anymore anyway. That's right. All bets are off. Aren't they punishing students for the gender thing or for the? I don't know. All right, y'all getting political. I don't know what's going on. I even pay that much to schools and the stuff as well. All right. Last but not least, again, this story is in the headline, but I have to mention it as I keep telling you, we're mentioning this at this point legitimately every day. Illinois is considering strategic Bitcoin reserve with 5-year HODL strategy. Again, the headline is the news. That makes the last week, 2 weeks. You got Texas, Alabama, I believe it was Arizona, possibly Utah. Now we got Illinois. So as I keep mentioning every day, you're getting more states, more regions, more countries, more everybody signaling that they're down for the Bitcoin reserve. This is all this is. Illinois being a huge state in the Midwest, of course, Chicago being one of the major hubs and not one of the biggest cities in the US, and number four, I want to say 3 or 4. But Illinois is big. And I think once again, if they're going to signal for it, I know Michigan is already doing some crypto stuff in Detroit and things of the sort. If Illinois signals, which they have for this Bitcoin reserve, I think we'll see Michigan next signal for one also. And you get Illinois and Michigan signaling for a Bitcoin reserve, the whole Midwest is essentially about to fall. Like they're all going to go with the Bitcoin reserve as well. And again, you got Texas, Alabama, you got the South going that direction. You already got Arizona, a few states out west. You get California. Ladies and gentlemen, we officially have a United States Bitcoin reserve. So I think this is going to be like a big deal, as I keep saying, which is why I keep reporting on this happening every day. But again, not a big news story until they actually move forward with it. But they are all signaling to each other right now here for the next few weeks and few months. So again, the market is in great shape per usual. We should be having stories about Bitcoin reserve hopefully before the end of the year. But other than that, that is the market. Smash that like and share, and I will see you all tomorrow with some more Bitcoin and crypto news. Cheers.